When people hear the word farmer, they often think of someone working tirelessly in the field, battling the elements to produce a bountiful harvest. But that's not the whole story. Modern agriculture has transformed the industry. Today, innovative technologies empower farmers to scale their operation and achieve remarkable success. This week, I interview Ato, a man with a remarkable story. From his days as a World Bank country manager to his current role as a successful farmer owning 200 acres of land, Ato has always been driven by a passion for development. But what truly sets him apart is his dedication to giving back. As the founder of an autism center named after his son who lives with autism, Ato is creating a supportive community for farmers navigating similar challenges. For him, agriculture isn't just about farming. It's about building a better future.
Ato Brown is somebody pretending to be a farmer. You know, I'm a civil engineer by training, who happened to have worked for the World Bank for 28 years, retired and came back home. And the journey into agriculture, I think I always have to explain it, you know, that I always say that I'm pretending to be a farmer because I never had ground
intended.
Yeah, you know, but I have a son called Albert, and he's autistic. And so before I retired, I was thinking about what do I do to support him, to have him, you know, integrate properly into society. And, you know, so I'm just working for Albert now.
Right.
You know, trying to set up the foundation, Autism Foundation. And we felt that the Autism Foundation needs some grounding, you know. So setting up in the farm, provide the environment, the serene environment for kids to relax and enjoy, both for the parents, for the children with disabilities themselves, and also for their caregivers. The place. So what we set up to do in this farm is to create a necessary environment and build the necessary infrastructure for that respite care, they call it, or just chilling, you know, for children with disabilities, you know, like autism. Yeah.
You said you worked 28 years with the World Bank.
Yes.
Which capacity were you working in?
You know, I started off as an engineer, you know, working on water projects, infrastructure, then go to natural resources, then I became a manager. So half my year was technical and half my life in the World Bank was managerial.
Okay. So when agriculture is mentioned in Ghana, what comes to mind?
What comes to mind is the missed opportunity. That Ghana started very well with agriculture. Cocoa was our mainstay. For a long time, it worked for us. Smallholder farmers were the engine of growth. And for maybe 20, 30 years, Ghana was #1 in cocoa production. It fueled our economy for a while. And then increased population, increased demands on, you know, state building and so on. I think cocoa was not enough. And partly we never got the opportunity to revitalize cocoa like our colleagues in Ivory Coast who went to commercial farming at some point in time. In less than no time passes by. And we lost our grounds as #1 in agriculture. So I think there's a lot of catching up to do in agriculture. There's a missed opportunity, and thank God, thank to availability of technology, new science, new knowledge, we can catch up, we can frog leap, we can do wonderful things in agriculture. So I see that opportunity that presents itself for modern agriculture, modern commercial agriculture, and agriculture that lends itself to younger people, younger population who are a bit more knowledgeable and can apply the science and technology to improve agricultural productivity.
Why do you think we are still practicing peasant farming instead of commercial farming, despite the abundance of land that we have?
I think partly when in doubt, blame the state. So I think the government didn't make the necessary adjustment. We've relied, Cocoa Board relied very heavily on smallholder farming. It has its bright sides, the so-called quality, premium cocoa, and so on. But over time, production slowed down. Corruption in the management of CMB didn't help it. They diverted attention to cocoa roads, or out of the core business, in a way. So I think the focus in modern agriculture, the transformative agriculture, never happened, and therefore we're catching up. And as I said, the missed opportunities is something that presents itself, and we've seen what Côte d'Ivoire did, what Vietnam is doing, what Brazil is doing, research into agriculture, plowing it back into the farm, allowing incentives on the farmers incentives, packaging the right financing for farmers, and so on. I mean, there's a lot of packaging that needs to be done to make sure that we can get back on track and find our rightful place in agriculture.
Which are some of the countries you traveled to supervise projects on?
Actually, I've worked, I'm one of the fortunate people that have worked from the country level all the way to global level. I worked in Ghana, I worked in Côte d'Ivoire, West Africa, almost every country. I worked in West Africa. I then went to the headquarters, covered East and Southern Africa, Middle East, North Africa, became a manager for the water sector, water development. So Morocco to Iran,
right?
All the 13 countries in the North and Middle East, North Africa and Middle East. And then I decided to try my hands on the management side when I went into Sierra Leone. So during Ebola, I was in charge in Sierra Leone.
Okay.
Then from there, I moved to Kazakhstan. That was my last posting before I retired.
Before you retired?
Yeah.
Did you have any chance to visit the farms in any of these countries?
Yes.
And what did you see uniquely in these agriculture sites, these countries?
Initially it was just maybe firefighting. My first time in Tanzania, for instance, 28 people had been killed between the fight between Maasais and settler farmers, and so we needed to provide water for animals and water for human beings, and to help resolve the conflict. Right. We started in Morogoro region, and before we know it, in about 10 years we built a national program for water supply, both for human beings, for environment, and for livestock development. So it gave me opportunity to be associated with a bit of farming, even though we did a lot of municipal water supply also in the but when I became a manager, I was in charge of the country portfolio. So there were commercial agriculture projects in Sierra Leone that I managed it, and several other agriculture projects. And then in Kazakhstan, my last project was livestock development. How to get 100,000 heads of cattle to China. So from animal genetics all the way to abattoirs and packaging for export. So I can't say I've been lucky, to be around farms, and I've seen, but never in my wildest dream. I was one day I was going to be a farmer and face the same generic problems that I hear farmers talk about.
Right. Which year did you come down to Ghana?
Yeah, I retired 1st of December 2019. 8th of December I was in Ghana. 1 week. Quick transition. But because mentally I never left Ghana. I invested here, I built my house here, even bought the land before I came. So when I came, the farm, about 15 acres, was already done, and we continue from there.
In total, what's your land size?
About 200 acres, plus or minus.
200 acres?
Yes, plus or minus something. But, I think that's about fair. Cropped agriculture, we have about maybe 80 acres of mango. And then assorted fruits, another 20 acres.
All right. So you took us on a ride.
Yeah.
Guys, you should see the car Uncle Albert is driving. You took us on a tour, farm tour, to show us how the farm is looking like. Now we saw a lot of different, both exotic and local, crops. From one of them is passion.
Right.
This is the yellow
type.
And then there is
You get a purple and we get a lime green.
Okay.
Also, yeah.
Then we saw tomatoes.
Tomatoes, yeah.
There's a bit of
Cucumber.
taro.
That's right.
And then you have orange.
Yeah.
We even saw dragon fruit.
Yeah.
We saw, what else? Mangoes.
I think the concept of diversity.
Okay.
You need to diversify agriculture for one reason, also cash flow. Mango takes 4 years to, if I'd known what I know now, maybe I would have started some of the diversification earlier on. But mango takes 4 years. So within the 4 years, you are spending money,
right?
Before the single fruit arrives. So the mixed farming approach provides you with a bit more of a
relief, financial relief.
Right. You do the short-term cash flow, the mid-term cash flow. So
then,
3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. But you should have always cash, at least to cover your operating costs. So that's the idea.
Went into the planning.
Yeah. The other thing is my own stubbornness. I said, if I don't do it, who will do it? I've been around, I've seen a lot around the world. So I can implement a small thing and also use it for teaching.
Right.
Like the agricultural extension people, they come to the
around.
farm. Yeah, they use the Okra district director and his staff. They use this place for their extension work. So when they ask to build something, so we have fish tanks, we have some goats and sheep. We even did rabbits and snails. Whatever comes to mind, we try to do it just to show the potential for agriculture.
Roughly how many years have you been so far a farmer?
I think I've been pretending to be a farmer for the last 5 years. For the last 5 years. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. It's kept me alive. Gives me an opportunity to walk, and also experience management at a very granular level. When you are a manager in the World Bank, you have troops in Washington country office to release onto the job front. But here I need to supervise it myself. I need to find out how much water is needed for each crop. I need to find out a lot more. And it's been a good, interesting journey. Okay,
so because we are in passion, let's talk briefly about passion.
All right.
What do I need to grow passion?
You need just the seedlings, and you get a fruit like this. You dry the seeds. You can do your own nursery, and then you plant it, or you buy it from renowned nursery farms, and you plant it. And as you know, the passion is a bit capital intensive. It's not for everybody. It's not for every farmer. But I would say that try a bit. I tried 2 lines, and before I went to an acre. And now I have about 4 acres.
Right.
So work with the plant. Work with the plant. See your strength and the strength of the plant on your land, and then see what the economics looks like, and then you can expand.
Great. All right. So we are going to the other farms you have.
Right.
And then we'll continue our conversation.
Thank you.
Now we find ourselves in the mango area.
Yeah.
And you said this is about how many acres?
It's about, in all, 80 acres of mango.
80?
80 acres, yeah.
What varieties are we talking about?
Keith mostly, and sprinkled with a few Kent, but mostly Keith variety.
You mentioned it's been 5 years already.
Right.
How would you describe the journey?
It's been a phenomenal journey. I mean, you watch, first as an absentee farmer, when I planted, I was still in the US. Or Kazakhstan, wherever, and I come home and I see the plants growing, and it was always exciting to see it grow. But by the time I came back, it started fruiting. So we had 1 year, about the first year of fruiting, about 4 years, we saw that, and then we've seen the second year, and now we're into the 3rd year. So it's been a phenomenal journey. It's been... we haven't seen the money yet, but we are hopeful that we'll see the money because, a bit of interesting dynamics, whether it's climate change or just changing the weather patterns and so on. Sometimes it's too much rain, sometimes it's too much. So mango also has impacted by that. But last year we had a very good harvest.
Okay.
Very, very good, excess of close to 100 tons of mango, and we didn't have a problem also selling, thank God. We have Bomat as our main off-taker, and they bought most of the mango. So a few guys also cherry-picked for export. And then we also did some direct sales to boxes of 5 kilos to Accra. Every evening we packed about 100 boxes of, 5 kilo boxes to Accra and sold directly. So it was okay.
Any regrets so far?
No regrets. I mean, it's if I know what I know now, maybe I would have started more with the diversification. So in the 4 years, you do some greenhouses for vegetables, you do some, so that you can manage the cash flow. Because to wait for 4 years for the first fruit it's a pain for a farmer. In the meantime, every month you have to pay staff, you have to pay both fixed staff and casual staff. During harvesting, you need 40 people to harvest this mango. So it's cash oriented a bit. So if you can do some crops or some activities or off-farm activity, maybe in future some processing, value addition, that might help in terms of making sure that your short-term needs are taken care of, short-term cash flow needs are taken care of, and that you can have a very productive and successful farm.
If you were to be invited by the Agric Minister,
right,
and given the chance to change one thing about agriculture in Ghana, what would that be?
I think let's do the shift to commercial agriculture. Let's make the transition to commercial agriculture. We've done the subsistence agriculture for a long time. It's provided good opportunity for smallholders and also for peasant farmers. I think it's about time we need to, because farming has become a bit more sophisticated. Farming has become more challenging, especially for exports. We need exports. I mean, Ghana has suddenly become, we import tomatoes, we import everything. We don't need to, I don't want to say ban imports, but the things that we have a capacity to grow, we need to grow them. And we need to grow in sufficient quantity for personal use, for food needs, and for industry. And I think that's the transition that we need. Some noises are happening under the 24-hour economy, under planting for food jobs. For every government has its own slogan and so on. But I think that we should go beyond the slogan and make sure that we deliberately and intentionally, set the space or set the stage for transformation to, commercial agriculture.
A lot of people say Ghana, we have a lot of arable lands, but we are not heavily investing. What needs to be done to boost the agriculture sector?
No, I think that there are a couple of things in terms of the mindset. We suddenly have moved from a private holder based agriculture to a policy-based holder agriculture. We take the bureaucrats seem to control the scene instead of the farmers. So I think farmer associations is something that we need to take a little more seriously, and then also the incentives associated with farming need to be improved. So you want to channel the incentives towards production, not to those who are buying food for buffer stock, all kinds of people, there are too many parasites, and I think we need to focus on the farmer and making sure the farmer is healthy, farmer is productive, and then farmer is reasonably successful so that at least we can continue producing. So that's the shift, to just remove, perverse incentives are always great, and especially when people get away with it, so instead of food feeding, was set up to promote local economy. You have to buy the food from the district.
Exactly.
But now if you start importing the food for school feeding, then you've defeated the purpose. You've broken the chain. It doesn't work. So I think we need to be very intentional what we do, and say every policy should be backed with concrete actions that will actually make sure that we succeed, not to, after 4 years, say that, we use PJ4 1 to
PFJ4, PFJ3.
No, it doesn't work.
Okay.
I mean, people.
The lip service is not working.
People don't even remember what PFJ was for.
Right.
So I think if the government can focus on the farmer, as I said, and focus on the output, focus on what are we doing the farming for. It's not survival. We farming in Ghana, we know how to take care of ourselves. The farmers know how to take care of themselves. But are we, producing in excess for industry, for manufacturing, where the jobs are really going to be created? Because we've maximized the smallholder farm. You optimized it. There are 60% of the population involved in agriculture, when other societies only 3 or 4%.
Okay.
So we need to shift the burden of job creation to production, from production to manufacturing.
Okay.
And that's where we will see the value addition, and we will see the strengthening of our currency. We will see the economic attributes coming to the fore.
This mango takes 4 years to fully mature.
Yeah.
Okay, so in a year, how many times does it flower and fruit?
In southern Ghana, in the Somanya belt, as they call it, you're lucky to have two fruiting seasons.
Okay.
In June and in December. So even if you allow, after 2-3 years, you allow for the tree to rest a bit, you prune and so on, then you can have maybe one crop per season.
Okay.
You need to make time for the trees also to rest.
Right.
So every 3-4 years, maybe you need to prune heavily and then skip one season. So we are lucky for the average time we have 2 seasons, which is very good.
Okay.
Which means 6 months. The shorter the cash flow,
Yeah,
the better. Better. In Brong-Ahafo and so on, I understand it's only 1 season per year, so that's tough.
Okay.
You need to stick around for 9 months, 12 months to see your next check.
A lot of people would argue that this man, he went with the World Bank, so he has a lot of money. That is why he's doing what he's doing. So let us also sell our family land, go abroad, or go and do other things, make money and come back. What do you say when you hear such utterances?
Somebody quite recently reminded me, don't apologize for being successful. I think so. I will try to do that, but I'm also humble enough to admit that I've been blessed. I've been lucky in a way that because of my reasonable pension, I don't have to, but if people like me don't do it, who do you expect to do it? At least I have some disposable income. I can invest, I can take the risk, and my children out of the door, so, I have still Albert to worry about who is autistic. So this farm, if he produces enough, it can support Albert and people that I want to support in the autism and these people with challenges,
Okay.
So, I can do it. And I think people in my situation, people who have lived abroad or had been, even when they lived in the country, have been successful, should be encouraged to make the next leap in their career to go into farming and commercial agriculture, because they can bring some of the skills that they had in private sector or in the corporate sector to farming and make it work, instead of retiring and so cigar and riding. We can afford Lamborghini, so we won't talk about Lamborghini.
So whilst you were away, the mangoes were already planted.
Yes.
Tell me, what were some of the systems that you had put in place that helped you?
I think that farming is not something that you can do by remote control. You need to be present, you need to be close enough, you need to be monitoring as much as when I was lucky. I could come home every 6 months or at least once a year and stay for 6 weeks. I accumulated my holidays and I spent the full holidays mostly in Ghana, and therefore I had contact time with the people I left things in charge of. I was lucky also that the land purchase came with somebody called Kofi Labi from Aukuga, who stayed around and helped me plant. There was also my nephew, my son, Ora, who did his national service around. So I had somebody who was close to me also around. And the two of them basically planted 15 to 20 acres of mango,
right,
and watch it grow for the first 3 years until I could come back. You know? So, and because I was coming every 6 months, towards the latter part of my time before, once I set out that I was going to retire, you know, and I was going to
move back
to Ghana. I was going to set up the foundation for autism care. I was going to build a farm in the farm. You know, planning is also important.
Okay.
That you need to plan. You need to be very deliberate. You need to be very, very, very systematic in how you support it. So, you know, I think I've been largely.
You had the right people in place.
Right people
to help you.
Yes, yeah, right people, but also attention was there, the focus was there, the purpose was there. You know, so I could. If I fail, I should fail forward. you know, I tried. You know, get A for effort. You know, so that was more or less. You know.
Great. So now we'll walk all the way to, you know, a relaxation place. I want us to talk a bit more about the young people.
Yeah.
Because you serve as a board member on one of the biggest hubs in Ghana, KIC.
Yes, yeah.
Why do you think that the interest of the young people in agriculture is growing, but they are unable to venture into the sector? What is preventing us from going?
I think the future belongs to the young people in the first place. So they attempting to claim it through whatever means, and organizations like the Cosmos Innovation Center, Agra, MasterCard Foundation, and so on, supporting these initiatives is laudable. Because as I said, the future belongs to the young people. So and I believe that the young people should be very aggressive, you know, about their future, and any opportunity to enhance the future, they should go for it. The point about it is just like the constraints most farmers go through, whether it's finding land, finding the capital to inject into farming, the type of farming you want, you know, especially if it's you want to go into commercial agriculture or technology-led agriculture, you need a bit of financing for that, and it's not easy to come by from a graduate with a national service degree. You know, so the issue is finding the people with the desire. First of all, the desire and the passion to want to go into agriculture, and then finding a supportive environment, creating the supportive environment. The government, together with organizations like KIC, MasterCard Foundation, and all the Agra, those who are supporting young people today, to create an engine and stimulate the environment for young people to be successful in agriculture. And I think that partly helping them with the land banks, if it's possible, but even let some of the young people take this step, find their land. But once they find the land, or they find the space to do agriculture, because you don't need a lot of land to start agriculture. You can very tight space, even quarter of an acre, you can do intensive agriculture and be successful. And then aligning the incentives with the passion. I think that's for me the most essential elements.
I realize that you do irrigation.
Right.
You also have some water source surrounding
Right.
your land. But you told me you have different types of irrigation set for different plants.
Yeah.
What irrigation do you have in this big farm?
No, I think we have three types basically. Drip irrigation, which is the most in water conservation. You know, it's important. I mean, climate is changing, so we need to focus on conservation. So drip irrigation, which means that you can virtually irrigate from half an acre to 10 acres by just a switch of a pump, you know, and then you get it done. We have sprinkler for some crops. Sprinkler irrigation is fine, and then we also have the rain gun, which is very expensive, but also for some crops that's the way to go. So we have all the three types. So extension officers who come here can see the three types, and they can advise farmers which type the farmers can use on their land, depending on the size of land, depending on the type of crop you grow, which type of irrigation that you use. But also I have a foot pump. We started with a foot pump. You know, I have one sitting at the back of the house where two farmers, one can be pedaling and then a small hydrum, and then you can direct. for maybe a quarter of an acre, you can do the foot pump.
Okay.
Even if you just go and fetch the river water and use your, what do you call it, a sprinkler container to, you can do that. But irrigation is going to be an essential part of modern agriculture. And I think we need to get used to it.
Is agriculture rewarding?
Agriculture is rewarding. I think, I don't want to say can be rewarding, it's rewarding, because we've seen countries that have done very well with agriculture. Not in my lifetime, you know, it's not in several lifetimes ago. That in my lifetime, I've seen some countries, I've seen Morocco, I've seen Egypt. Egypt has been forever, you know, I mean, they depend on the Nile. There's only one rain in a year or something like that, but they depend on irrigation for you know, so I think it's an essential part of the package that if you want to do continuous agriculture. But I would say that if irrigation is not possible, don't lose the opportunity with rain-fed agriculture. Rain-fed agriculture is also can be very, but the type of rain-fed agriculture that you do and how you allow nature or storage, create storage on your farm, you know, so when you can do some reasonable irrigation as you know, you are capable of doing. Okay.
A lot of Ghanaian diasporas are inspired by some of you people, other people who have availed themselves to share their journey. But when they come down, things don't go the way it's supposed to or they're expecting to. What are some of the things you can share with Ghanaian diasporas who want to come back and look in the area of agriculture?
One important thing is expectation management. It's good to be ambitious, but when you're executing, be very systematic and be very intentional when you're executing. So I think you can't wish crops to grow. You have to tend to the crops. So if you are not here, you have to simulate conditions as if you are here. Find the right people to be able to take care of business for you, but follow it, you know, and make time to come by and see what's happening, you know, because you can't just leave it with a remote button and control culture. Nowadays, people even, I know they are installing sophisticated sensors and cameras so they can be part of their experience as they manage their farms from abroad. And I have a few young people around me, for instance, not only diaspora, you know, Kojo Hakuto is just around the corner, Russell is around the corner, Jeffrey is around the corner. I have a few young people, including Charles Ado, you know, Jr. You know, they are all young people who are here. Some of them who have gone abroad and come back, and they have a passion for agriculture. And I think, you know, putting your right foot forward and marching
matters a lot.
You know, it's important, you know, that you stay with the game. You know, don't create expectations for somebody that you won't create for yourself. And I always, you know, a friend of mine told me about, he was trying to build a house. And then I asked him who is building this. Oh, his friend, a teacher. You know, you employ your friend, a teacher, to build a house for you. And then when things go south, it's not that teachers cannot build houses, but, you know, why didn't you find a builder? You know, find somebody who will build a house, who has the knowledge. But maybe you want it cheap. You get the results for going cheap. So I think that, you know, once the passion is there, once the interest is there, learn a bit about farming, learn a bit that now you have YouTube, you have different experiences. I mean, you need to be able to sift through the hype. You know, there's also a lot of hype about farming, and don't go for any crop that everybody thinks, oh, this crop is very lucrative. Test it for yourself. Even if you were to test it, do half an acre first or quarter of an acre first, see how it grows, and then expand accordingly. Don't go and do 20 acres and then run into crisis, because hiring labor is not, and especially in these times where Galamsey has pulled all the active labor force away, about 1 million people, and you can't find the quantity and even the quality of labor to do successful agriculture. So you need to find the type of agriculture that allows you to be a bit minimalistic, but at the same time, you know, find one person doing a lot, you know, and equip them with the right technology and the skills to be able to do more for less.
Why do you think we complain about unemployment, but the sector that has readily jobs available, we are still not willing to go into it?
But it's not a problem.
Is it because you are not paying your laborers, right?
I think it's not a problem for young people alone, and it doesn't start now. The orientation from independence time has been towards, office orientation. So we lost a bit of our mojo, that we encourage people to go into education, and you remember those days, you finish university, the company might be waiting to hire you. Things have changed, and we need to adapt to the changing situation. But I think that we need to make agriculture stimulating. You need to make agriculture, for choice of a better word, sexy for young people. Because if you don't, I try to make sure that I'm growing crops that are exotic, it's appealing. That young people will be attracted to. To use the technology that young people are attracted to. They don't have to break their backs to grow pepper. So if you can do irrigated, do the mulching, so you don't have to weed too much. Do apply a few technology to it. It makes
Smart
young
farming.
people. You're right. It makes young people, because young people have aspirations.
Okay.
And I think that we should not condemn young people to subsistence agriculture necessarily.
Okay.
We should not.
Okay.
It didn't work for us, so it won't work for them.
Right.
It didn't work for us. Those of my age, subsistence agriculture didn't work for us. So if we want our folks, young folks, to go into, then we should let them go into the right space with the flavor that matches their aspirations.
Okay. A lot of you are into production. Why are we not looking in the area of value addition and also agribusiness? Why are we not exploring the other parts?
It's a natural progression, and I think you need to learn to produce before you can even think about, value addition.
Right.
So it has to be sequenced, but I think production first.
Okay.
We need to make sure we have grounded in production. As we speak, we don't produce enough mangoes. We don't produce enough passion fruit. We don't produce enough of anything, and that's why even tomatoes we are importing. Or we don't produce at the right time, so we need to, off season, we are in trouble, so we need to find way of making sure production is continuous and it's uniform and it's very productive. Once you get that, then value addition becomes interesting.
Okay.
But at the same time, we know that even on the rain-fed agriculture, there are rain season where we have a lot of glut. I think it was a shame that we had the farmers in Ashanti Akim, complaining about they have 1,000 tomatoes, and the price has come to the various bottom and you can't sell. And then it took the president of the nation, the first general of the nation, to intervene. I think we know it was going to happen.
Okay.
I don't think anybody should have been surprised that Ashanti Akim farmers, if the extension officers were doing their work, they know there's going to be a glut in this area. If the bulk stock people are attentive and they have the right budgets, they should be in Ashanti Akim. They shouldn't wait for the president to be ordering them to go and purchase the stock from her. So for every crop or every even food crop, we need to be very deliberate about it. We need to have the systems actually for tracking production, tracking yields, tracking, and then also do the matchmaking, help the farmers make the matchmaking, because it's going to happen. We, I think, need to also go back to some things that we have forgotten. Pickling of tomatoes, the cotton industry storage. We need to pick up some of them, so that we can prolong the life of tomatoes, prolong the life of peppers, prolong the life of the crops that easily perish. Grind them, store them, dry them. We need to find different ways of preserving and so on.
Great.
So it's not going to be just one. It's going to be a number of actions together that will help us meet this awful situation where farmers work so hard, and then their
effort go waste. The Autistic Foundation.
Right.
Did it start right when the farm started, or in which year did you decided to introduce the foundation?
No, the idea came before the farm, and as I said, I'm an accidental farmer, because we thought about an idea of a center for autism, a respite center, a place for children, their families, and their siblings, and caregivers can come and chill.
Right.
They come and just rest, basically, and then you have to want this serene environment where it's calming enough for the children and also for their parents and their caregivers. So that was the idea, and the idea gave birth to the farm.
Okay.
So if you can do it in the farm, at least we create the environment right there.
Right.
And then to have it in a variety of crops and variety of activities that lend themselves to stimulation of cognitive skills and so on, and people who have impairments in neuro impairments or neurodiverse people can have different stimulating experience when they come here. That's it. So once the farm came into being, we started building the structure. So we have block 1, we have the annex. So we have about 15 rooms in all. We have a small conference room. We have a sensory integration room. We have the outside kitchen where we can bring the community together, and different place for families, different place for singles, so on. So at least we slowly building it. In the last 3 years, we built this facility, and we will continue to build another dormitory or sleeping place, and we'll build a resource center for adaptive work. Those who are capable of working either in art or painting, woodwork, metalwork, music, different things that they are capable of doing. They can find solace and they can work there.
That's a lot.
2 years from now, I think
when we come back,
it will all be complete, and and I can leave this place in peace and go find some cottage down the hill or up the hill.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Ghanaian farmer. We're all the way in Asesieso. We're all the way in Asesieso, and we're visiting the Albert Having Farm and Autistic Foundation. So these two, intertwine. The foundation started, then the farm, had to also join. So these young children with special needs, they relax, they have the peaceful, serene environment. They can still learn from different crops. We have the passion here. Guys, do you know what this is? It's called prekese. I don't know what you call it in your language, but we use it in preparing a lot of delicacies in Ghana, especially soupy food like the abenkwai and kakra and a lot of things. Even if you drink it, you can just boil and drink. And this is the plant. This doesn't grow in the wild, or you intentionally grew it?
No, this one I inherited it. But I've also
it was on the land before.
Yeah, I've grown a few of them, a few trees also.
Okay.
Yeah, and I also grow a bit of herbs and spices.
Right. What do you have to tell most Ghanaians here in Ghana, those in the diaspora, and of course people like you who are fortunate to be working with international organizations and they have a lot in the bank? What would you tell them? Because we need Ghana to develop.
Right.
And with people like you around, we are encouraged there's a better future.
No, I think all is not lost. Ghana is a great place. It's a great country. We have all it takes. We have all it takes to be successful, and I think we need to give it our best shot. People at my age or even younger folks, people abroad and so on, plant a seed and watch it grow. I mean, plant a seed of any type. Plant a good seed, you have a good seed, but you need to learn to nurture the seed and watch it grow. And think about what the possibilities are, the unfolding opportunities for agribusiness, unfolding opportunities for exports, unfolding opportunities for applying technology to agriculture and making sure the productivity increases, and also we can find value in working in agriculture. So I believe the future is bright, and especially for young people, who are watching this program, don't give up. The future is yours. Seize it and run with it.